Okay, so today we're going to break down this absolutely wild social experiment. But we're not just looking at the reality TV drama here. No, we're going to analyze it as a super high-stakes strategic game. It's full of alliances, deception, and this really cool concept from game theory called asymmetrical information.
And this quote right here, it really just says it all. You have one guy stranded out in the wilderness with, get this, 5 of his ex-girlfriends. You can just feel the tension right from the get-go.
And what are they all fighting over? A huge $300,000 cash prize. With that much money on the line, you know this 30-day challenge is going to be about way more than just surviving the elements.
So let's lay out the basic setup. We've got our guy, Grant, stuck with 5 women he used to date. And the most important one to know about is Ashley, because he cheated on her very publicly. That alone creates this powder keg of conflict before anything even happens.
Now, on the surface, the rules seem pretty straightforward. Last 30 days, and whoever's left standing splits the money. Simple, right? Well, not so fast. Grant's past becomes the immediate focus of everything. And you can probably guess what happens next. The women start talking, and they quickly find some serious common ground over their shared history with him.
But of course, there's a huge twist. Both sides get a secret rule, and this is where a simple survival game turns into this really complex, strategic battle. It creates this fascinating power imbalance, what we were talking about earlier, asymmetrical information. Basically, one side knows something, the other doesn't.
And this slide really breaks down that information gap perfectly. Grant's told he can kick one ex out every 5 days. So naturally, he thinks he's in complete control. But what he has no idea about is the women's secret power. The last one standing can choose to steal the entire 300 grand. He thinks they're all playing for a share, while they know one of them could walk away with everything. It's like he's playing checkers, and they're over here playing chess. So armed with this incredible secret advantage, the women don't just form an alliance to win. They immediately start plotting for revenge, and it's all centered around getting payback for Ashley.
I mean, just look at this plan. It is so calculated. Step 1, unite. Step 2, manipulate Grant so he keeps Ashley around. Step 3, they even use fake crying and staged arguments to push him in the direction they want. The whole endgame is to make sure Ashley is the last woman there so she can pull the trigger and take every single penny.
And don't just take my word for it. Ashley says it herself, plain and simple. This whole thing isn't just about winning a prize. For them, it's about a very specific, very personal kind of justice.
But you know, in any game like this, with high stakes and even higher emotions, alliances are always shaky. So let's talk about how this seemingly foolproof plan starts to completely unravel.
So the game moves along, and the numbers start to dwindle. Amy gets sent home first for making a sarcastic comment. Then Alyssa just quits. Julie gets voted out, which was actually part of the women's plan all along. And that leaves just 2, Ashley and Abby, squaring off for that final spot.
And this is where everything starts to go off the rails. Grant throws a massive wrench in their plan. He gives Ashley an ultimatum. To stay, she has to admit that they were equally imperfect in their relationship. It's a total ego move, and Ashley just refuses to give him the satisfaction.
And right here, you see the first major crack in the women's alliance. Abby starts to panic. She's worried that Ashley's pride is going to tick Grant off so much that he just walks away from the whole thing. And if he quits, everybody goes home with 0.
So, all of a sudden, Ashley standing her ground doesn't look so heroic anymore. It looks like a huge liability. From Abby's perspective, Ashley is risking the entire $300,000 just to win a moral argument. And that forces Abby to do a little strategic recalculation of her own and wonder where her loyalty should really be.
All right, this brings us to the absolutely explosive finale. What happens next is just a masterclass in endgame strategy, where one person makes a bold, calculated move to take over the entire game.
I mean, look at this. Abby is playing both sides like a fiddle. She goes to Ashley and swears, "I will not let him win. I promise you." Then she turns around, goes to Grant, and says, "I can promise you, I will not hurt you in the end." She makes 2 totally conflicting promises, setting herself up to win no matter what Grant decides.
And Grant, trying to make absolutely sure he can trust her, pulls out the big guns. He asks her to swear on the Bible. It's a moment she later calls a manipulation tactic. It's a ton of pressure, but Abby doesn't flinch. She swears, doubling down on the deception to lock in her spot.
And then, the climax. the moment of truth arrives. Grant eliminates Ashley, fully believing he has a deal with Abby. But as soon as the secret rule is revealed to him, Abby flips the entire game on its head. She betrays her promise to Ashley, she betrays her oath to Grant, and she takes the entire prize for herself.
So, how did she explain it? Well, Abby's justification was that Grant tried to manipulate her with that Bible oath. She also said she was tired of her game being all about Ashley's story, feeling like just a pawn in a revenge plot that wasn't hers. So she decided to play for herself. And then, in the most amazing, ironic final twist, she dedicates her win to Ashley.
And there it is, the result of that final jaw-dropping move. One winner walking away with a check for $300,000. A total victory, all thanks to a stunning betrayal.
So that leaves us with the one big question. Was Abby's move a brilliant, calculated piece of game theory, a strategic masterpiece, or was it just a cold-blooded, ultimate betrayal? I guess the answer really depends on whether you see this as a game of strategy or a game of hearts.